9:15. So the last time we added on to our calendar grid. So now we have up until April 9th. So we're going to continue to add on. Okay. So April 12th is the next day on our calendar. So we are going back to the garden beds. Okay, so April 12th was on, oh, I'm sorry, it's not April 12th. We need to go back to April 10th. So April 10th was a Friday, I believe. So we'd go right there. So April 10th. So we're going back to a whole because it's one whole thing. It's not broken up into parts. It's one whole thing that has parts versus this is not one whole thing. This is just parts that make up a group of things, okay? So we have how many parts? 4 parts. And then observation. So if you can see, 4 parts is, if we're talking about fractions here, which we discovered that we're learning about fractions in the last set of cards, is that this has 4 parts. So when it has 4 parts, that means it has 4 fourths. So it has 4 fourths, or you could write 4 fourths like this, which also equals to 1 whole because it's 4 parts out of 4 total parts. But you can also write 4 fourths, okay? All right. The next day would have been April 11th, which is Saturday. So we'll write April 11th. It is a whole again. This time, April 11th has 3 parts. Let me move this over here. So we have 3 total parts. Does this kind of remind you of something? Kind of reminds me of like the peace sign. Although a peace sign would have another line right here. But it kind of reminds me of that. Also kind of reminds me of like a pizza, which now I'm getting hungry. So observation. So do you notice anything about the way this garden bed is divided? So I noticed that each part is 1 out of 3 parts. So this would be 1/3. This is 1/3 and this is 1/3. So each part is 1/3. So it's 1 part out of 3 total parts. So it's 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. Okay? If I were to plant plants right here, and maybe I'm going to plant lettuce here, and then right here, I'm going to plant zucchini, okay? And I left this blank. That means 2/3, 1/3 and 1/3, that would make it 2/3 have vegetables. If I left that empty, that would be 1/3 does not have vegetables. So think of it like that, okay? That's how we would think of fractions, parts of wholes. The next card is the 12th. So this is a little bit different. Still, it's one whole thing broken into parts. So this is April 12th. This would have been Sunday. It is a whole. So there are 2 parts. So when there are 2 parts like this, it is broken into halves. The other garden bed would also be halves, okay? As you notice, these garden beds that we're looking at right now are circles. The garden beds before were rectangles, okay? But it's still the same thing. If it's 2 total parts, it's halves. So we're gonna write 2 parts. And that's our observation. Oops, sorry. Each part is half. Or there are 2 halves. That's how you spell halves. Half is F, halves, plural. And remember, you change the F to V-E-S. That's a plural noun. Okay, April 13th, which is Monday. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so April 13th, it is a whole. This time, there are no parts. It is just one whole part. Just like the fourth, right? You notice how it's pretty much the same? So it's one part because it doesn't have any parts divided into it. So there aren't parts. It's just one whole thing. Okay? All right, my friends, until next time.